Think back to the first year of your relationship. A single text notification from your partner triggered a literal physical reaction, a sharp spike in your heart rate, and an immediate flush of warmth. Now fast forward 3 years later, the exact same notification sound plays, and your body registers absolutely nothing. That complete drop-off in emotional resonance rarely means the romance is failing. It points directly to a heavily documented neurological symptom called dopamine resistance. The brain operates on a highly efficient reward system. When a digital ping becomes entirely routine and perfectly predictable, your brain recalibrates its baseline. The thrill fades because the system now requires a significantly higher stimulus to generate that original feeling of excitement. We didn't always communicate this way. In the early 2000s, sending a text cost money. Messages were limited. Because you couldn't reach someone constantly, every SMS was a deliberate event, forcing a high level of anticipation. The math shifted as soon as connectivity became limitless. The constant 24/7 access provided by modern technology did not inherently bring couples closer. It neurologically numbed them to each other. We transitioned into the instant messenger era, bringing read receipts, active status indicators, and a habit known as phubbing, choosing to snub your partner in favor of your phone. This chart highlights the direct fallout. We see an explicit correlation where nearly half of all couples report a severe drop in relationship satisfaction, linked directly to domestic smartphone use. The underlying cause is resource depletion. Algorithmic feeds are highly optimized to farm immediate dopamine from our brains. By the time you look across the dinner table, the cognitive energy required to engage in an actual relationship has already been drained. Left unmanaged in a household, a smartphone functions as a highly efficient, clinically designed assassin of intimacy. But the market is adapting. A $10 billion technology sector has aggressively pivoted away from foundational matching apps and moved directly into relationship maintenance. We are entering the biohacking era. The core strategy shifts focus from sheer quantity of connection to quality of presence, using data from biometric wearables. Imagine receiving raw telemetry from your partner's health ring. You see they only secured 3 hours of deep sleep, and their heart rate variability is deeply in the red zone. Armed with this exact data, you can diagnose their post-work exhaustion as a strict biological deficit, rather than misinterpreting it as emotional withdrawal or a lack of interest. The same logic applies to synchronizing menstrual and ovulation tracking apps. A mood fluctuation shifts from relationship friction into a predictable biological event, allowing a partner to deploy targeted support at the exact right moment. The hardware itself has no capacity to love. What it does is provide the hard, clinical telemetry required to deploy true empathy and prevent destructive misunderstandings. Couples are also using this digital infrastructure to actively manipulate their own dopamine pathways. By deploying highly ambiguous, teasing messages or gamified challenges during peak cognitive load, like the middle of the workday, you force the brain to process intrigue and delay gratification until the evening. Let's look at the neurological return on investment. This line graph illustrates the flat baseline of dopamine released during routine daily check-ins. Cognitive science dictates anticipation of a reward is vastly more powerful than the reward itself. When switching to unpredictable, gamified communication, that flat line surges 65%. For couples navigating physical distance, advanced haptic technology takes this a step further. Wearable bracelets bypass text entirely, utilizing sensitive actuators to simulate the exact pressure and cadence of a human heartbeat or a physical squeeze in real time. Sustaining long-term attraction requires treating digital communication not as a passive tether, but as an active tactical tool to inject novelty and engineer anticipation. There is, however, a razor-thin boundary here. Sharing this level of psychological data requires immense emotional maturity. You are walking the line between leveraging biometric data to support a partner and weaponizing that same data to control them. Following several high-profile leaks involving sensitive reproductive health apps, institutional trust in these platforms is severely fractured, currently sitting at a low index of 55 out of 100. The absolute rule of relationship biohacking is that a partner's biological telemetry must function solely as a navigational compass for affection. It is never to be used as ammunition in an argument. Ultimately, utilizing technology as a prosthetic for empathy fails completely if you don't implement strict physical boundaries within the home. This comparative matrix reveals the final clinical data point. We see a massive multiplier, specifically a 3.2 times higher relationship survival rate for couples who enforce mandatory disconnection zones. Love in the modern digital era requires active cyber maintenance. You have to master your biology with advanced tools while fiercely protecting your physical spaces to let true intimacy breathe.